Hi. Okay, now I have my giant whiteboard here. What we're gonna do today is, I'm gonna look at my hearts and my candy canes and my bells. Very exciting. Okay, still looking good, still looking good. We're going to make what we've been making in time intervals. So, you're gonna make your time interval line. So, you have to go ahead and you can get out, you can either do this in your math journal, in the 5-subject notebook, or you can do it on a whiteboard and take a picture of it. It's your choice. I don't care how you do it, just somewhere, make this. So we're gonna do what we've been doing. And so I'm gonna make up some time. Well, first I guess we want the whole thing to be an hour long. We'll start with the easy peasy hour long, right? So we have a start point and we have an end point. We're gonna say that the hours are, I don't know, let's say it's like after lunch. They've had the lunch and now they're done. So we're gonna say it's from, should we make it easy or hard? We'll start easier. We're gonna say 1 o'clock p.m. PM is the afternoon, so we've already had lunch, it's not the morning. And it's gonna end at 2 o'clock p.m. So go ahead and draw that out. Remember, you can pause this anytime you want if I go too fast for you. The goal is to just finish it and have it look awesome. So, sorry for this glare. This glare is, that's a lot of glare. Yeah, maybe that's better. So there it is, 1 o'clock to 2 p.m. Now, as we remember, in order to make this time intervals with 5 minutes in between, just like a clock is, we need 13 lines. So I already have one there and I have one there. So I'm going to count from here. I've got 1 line, then I've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I didn't do a very good job, so I'm going to have to redo my line. Luckily, I did mine on a whiteboard, so I got to count better. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11, 12, 13. There's my line. 2 o'clock p.m. There we go. So I've got my time intervals now because, of course, the space in between the start and the end is 5 minutes. This is 5 minutes. Every one of these is 5. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. And we know that 60 minutes is an hour, and from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock is 1 hour. Yes, so it's been 1 hour. I can even write that. It's been 1 hour of time. This whole time to this whole time is 1 hour. The whole thing's 1 hour. And there's 5-minute intervals, time intervals. Now, here's going to be our fun question that I want you to do. So think about this, and you're going to write this down. And you have to make your own. So I'm going to do mine for my animal. I want you to start thinking. This is going to be what you're going to be adding into your animal project. And you're actually just going to have taking a picture of it on your website. But you don't have to worry about that yet. What you have to figure out is your question for your animal. So you can make up your own times from when to when something happens. And so you have to come up with 3 things that your animal is going to do. But your animal has to travel from its ecosystem, anywhere in its ecosystem is how long it's going to travel. So your time span might take them 2 hours. Might be from 1 to 3 p.m. I don't know. You have to decide. Or maybe it's in the morning that they travel. You have to just decide your times. I'm going to, for now, just say this is my eagle. This is my lion eagle. My lion eagle is going to travel. Now, what I know about my lion eagle is that my lion eagle lives in the ecosystem. It lives in between. So I'm gonna write my ecosystem is between the mountains and the desert. That's what I had drawn on my display box. It's in between the mountains and the desert. So got my mountains and my desert. So It's in between the mountains and the desert. So I'm going to draw a picture of that. So I'm going to have from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. I need to find out how long it took for my animal to travel from the mountains down to the desert, because the mountains is where he was, or she, my beautiful lioness, is living in the mountains, resting and having peace. And then she needs to come down here because this is where she's going to hunt for game. She's going to hunt for food. So this is where some of the desert tundra animals are resting. So you have to think about your animal and where are they going? Where do they live? And is it all happening? Like if they live in a lake, are they going to travel from one end of the lake to the other end of the lake? If it's an ant, is it going to travel from one end of the leaf to the other end of the log? You have to figure out what your ecosystem is, what's happening in your ecosystem with your animal, and where are they going to travel. So you're starting to think about where your animal's going to travel. My animal's going to travel from its mountains, its peaceful mountains, to the tundra, because this is where it's going to eat. And so, as you can tell, like living in my animal, and mine's big. I have a lion eagle. So my lion has super strong legs, and my eagle has really big wings. So this can fly far and run far. I'm going to use its legs for running to catch the game. So it's going to save its energy in its legs. The lion part of my animal is going to save its energy to catch the prey in the tundra desert. And the eagle's going to be what's going to fly him from all the way from the mountains down to the tundra desert. So I'm going to say it's going to take about an hour. I think it's about an hour, 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. He's rested all morning. She's rested all morning. Now she's hungry, and she wants a snack before dinner, before like the evening. She wants a snack, like a late lunch, to come home back to the mountains to rest for the whole night. So she's going to travel. So I've got to figure out some things. And what is my time interval? So I have between 1 and 2 p.m. And I'm going to say during this time, she is going to travel from the mountains. She's going to travel from her nest to the nest is like in the mountaintops. She's going to travel from the nest in her mountaintops, and then she has to go all the way to the bottom of the mountains. So she's got to do that traveling. So that's one thing that I got to plot on my thing, is she starts at the nest, and then she's got to go to the bottom of the mountains. So she's got to be like, right? So I'm going to say that's going to be about 10 minutes. So I'm thinking that's going to be 10 minutes from there. So she's going to go from her nest. I'm going to put nest here. So at the beginning at 1 o'clock, she's going to leave her nest. And then at this time, she's going to be at bottom of mountains. That's where she's going to go. Bottom of the mountains. So that's one time plot that I have, from the nest to the bottom of the mountains. And that's one thing I have to know. And so I'm going to say that's going to take her 10 minutes, because this is 1:05 and this is 1:10. So I'm going to say it took her until 1:10 to get to the bottom of the mountains. So that's 10 minutes. And then it's from the bottom of the mountains all the way to the tundra desert floor. I'm going to say that took her 45 minutes. So 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. So 1:45. Well, no, did I say 45 minutes? So that would be longer, because this is 1:10. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. So right here at 1:55 p.m., this is where arrives at desert. So that's what I'm thinking, is it's going to take her, and so you have to plot on your line how long it took from each thing to each thing. So I would say from nest to the bottom of the mountains, that whole thing took 10 minutes. And from bottom of mountains all the way to arriving at the desert, that took 45 minutes. So that's my time interval. I'm showing time intervals that it's taking me 10 minutes to go from the top of the nest down to the bottom of the mountain. That took me 10 minutes. And then it took me another 45 minutes to go all the way from the bottom of the mountains to the tundra desert. So 45 minutes. And I plotted it on my hour chart. So that means I left the nest at 1 p.m. At 1:55 p.m. I arrived at the desert. And that gives me a little bit of time now to hunt for my animals. And I'll still have time to travel back. So we'll get some more math on that later. But for now, go ahead and think about your animal, what you think about its ecosystem, where it lives, and how long it needs to take to get to certain places. I want you to add and count by fives to figure out what your spot is. It'd be ideal if you had two things. So it means you have to have 3 plots of things. So like nest, bottom of mountains, like where are they going to go? And then tundra. So like I had 1 nest, bottom of mountains was 2, and then tundra desert was 3. So I have a lot of things written here. 1, 2, 3. So I had 3 things to plot. So think about what things you have. Where did your animal start? Where does it have to travel first? And where does it ultimately want to end up traveling? So, and then you can plot that on your timeline here. And try to write in the times. Try to experiment with some different times and try to figure out what exact time of day it would be at those places. And take a picture of this. I want a picture of your animal and kind of you plotting and telling me how long it's going to take for your animal to travel. You're trying to figure out how long it's going to take your animal to travel. Your animal's going to have different travel for whatever your animal is. So think about where it's going to start, where it goes next, and where it's going to end up. And you can plot those on your timeline so that you can figure it out. And you're going to count by fives and write the time. So you get to choose. You're going to start at 1 o'clock and end at 2 o'clock, or you're going to change the times. I don't know, but you have to have the times. 1:05, 1:10, 1:15, 1:20. Like you have to write it in so that we know that you understand the times. And then you have to circle the times of where it started. So mine started at 1 o'clock. It landed at Bottom Mountains at 1:10, and it ended at arriving at the desert tundra floor at 1:55. So you get to choose how you want to do it, but make sure you can show where your animal traveled and what times they traveled to. That's your challenge for today. You can rewind this, you can play this over, you can pause it, do it as many times as you need to get an idea of how you're going to pick 3 things that your animal's going to do and plot it on a 1 hour thing. If you want an extra challenge and want to do it over 2 hours or whatever you want, you can do that. Just make it clear that you understand what the times are and how much the time interval is. You have to know your interval. So we know that mine, it was 10 minutes travel here and 45-minute travel here. That's my time interval. My time interval was the super important part, 10 minutes and then 45 minutes. It's a little bit messy, but hopefully you tracked with it. Have fun with it, and take me a picture of where you get. We'll do this again. I just wanted to get you started because this is the kind of thing that you're going to be able to show us in your ecosystem or in your Wakelet, in your website. So we're going to be able to show people how you understand time intervals. So just get started with it and do it again. So I think I will do one more to make it clearer. I know some of you like it even clearer. So again, if you're now doing it, you watched my whole thing. Now you're going to get started on your own. And you're going to make your long line. So that's the very first thing you want to do is your long line, and you get to decide if it's going to be an hour or more. The hour is what we started with, so that's the easiest way to do it. If you want to start experimenting with longer time, you can. But think about how it works. So we know we need 13 lines to make 5-minute intervals because every 5 minutes we have 5 12s to equal 60 minutes. So in order to show 1 hour timeline, we will need that many to show 5-minute intervals. You could do, if you wanted to show a 2-hour interval, you could do like 10 minutes in here and then show a 2-hour interval. You'll have to kind of figure out how you want to go. I'm going to go 5s because we've been doing that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and there's my 13. So I've got 13. I'm going to choose my time. I'm going to go ahead and stick with the times I started with. So I've got 1 o'clock start time, 2 o'clock end time. I need to fill out my 5-minute intervals. So I've got, this is going to be 1:05. This is going to be 1:10. This is going to be 1:15. This is going to be 1:20. This is going to be 1:25. This is going to be 1:30. This is going to be 1:35. This is going to be 1:40. This is going to be 1:50. This is going to be 1:55. This is going to be 1:60. This is going to be 1:70. This is going to be 1:80. This is going to be 1:90. This is going to be 1:91. This is going to be 1:92. This is going to be 1:93. This is going to be 1:94. This is going to be 1:95. This is going to be 1:96. This is going to be 1:97. This is going to be 1:98. This is going to be 1:99. This is going to be 1:100. This is going to be 1:102. This is going to be 1:2. This is going to be 1:3. This is going to be 1:4. This is going to be 1:5. This is going to be 1:6. This is going to be 1:7. This is going to be 1:8. This is going to be 1:9. This is going to be 1:10. This is going to be 1:11. This is going to be 1:12. This is going to be 1:13. This is going to be 1:14. This is going to be 1:15. This is going 135, 140, 145, 150, 155, and we end at 2 o'clock. So you're going to kind of label your 5-minute marks. Then you're going to write the name of your animal. So you can write down the name of your animal, whatever your animal is, your animal name, and write down where their ecosystem is. Then from there, you get to pick 3 things. Where they start in their ecosystem. Where's their start? Where are they starting from? Where do they go next? And finally, where do they end up? So this is your travel of your animal. These are the things you have to think of. Once you figure it out, you have to do it. So start, of course, will be at 1 o'clock. So you can plot your 1 o'clock time there, whatever time you say it is. That's what their start time is. Then you have to figure out where they're going to go next. So whatever it is that they go next, think about how long it might take them. Is it going to be a 5-minute thing, a 10-minute thing? Is it going to take them like 20 minutes to get there or a half an hour to get there? Think about how long it's going to take them to go to the next thing. You get to decide how long it takes them, but you're going to plot it, whatever it is, and you have to write like what it is. Like what are they doing? What do they do? And that takes it. And then you have to figure out and connect that first one and figure out your time interval. How long did it take them? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. And then you have to write it. That way we know you knew it took 25 minutes for them to get to point A to point B or wherever you stop your time. You can say it says 125, so you know it's 25 minutes. Then where do they end up? Now they could end up all the way at ending at 2 o'clock, or they could end up sooner. You get to decide where they go. If I went all the way to 2 o'clock and I thought that, then I have to draw a line from this go next all the way to end up. And I have to count my time intervals, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. So I know it took 35 minutes for them to go end up to where they're supposed to be. So this is what I want you to label. That way I know that you understand that it took 25 minutes to get here and 35 minutes to get there. So that's what I want you to do. Take a picture of it on your iPad and post it to Seesaw for me. Thank you. Have a great day.